Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. All right, talk some offense there. Offense was good. Rolled up 34 points, scored on 6 straight drives, scored quickly, ran some time late, got it done. That's all good. The defense was not. With about 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, Andre Sam had the interception. And that was a good play. Guy that's thrust into a starting role, got Greg Brooks out. Sam comes in, makes a play for an interception. Great, grand, wonderful. LSU didn't get a stop after that. Halftime was kind of a stop, and then they got the interception on the last play of the game because Arkansas had to throw it as far as they could. But you didn't get a stop after that. Arkansas goes 12 plays, 75 yards, gets a field goal. They go 8 plays, 75 yards, get a touchdown, a 15-play drive, takes 53 yards for a field goal, then 2 straight 75-yard touchdown drives in the fourth quarter once you've taken a lead. It's just bad. And that Arkansas offense has a veteran quarterback who is good. But his playmakers are not great. Rocket Sanders, the running back, not playing. You've got a couple of D2 transfers that are out there at wide receiver, a true freshman tight end that's just running wide open. And LSU has had no answer late. And that honestly surprises me a little bit. If Keon Coleman is going to go up over your 5'10 defensive back and moss folks in the end zone, like, that's not stunning to me. He's a pro, and he's a better player than the guys you got out in the secondary. But Arkansas's guys running open and making plays over the top of you, and that's significantly concerning because those guys are not dudes. And for LSU not to be able to stop Arkansas on those 2 fourth quarter drives where they go 75 yards for touchdowns. I realize one kind of a busted play. I got you, but you can't have a busted play. There are quarterbacks in this league that'll burn you if you bust. And that was Zy Alexander. Kirk Herbstreit on the television copy that I watched yesterday had a great description. He's like, look, you've got to plaster onto those receivers when the quarterback breaks contain. You can't look into the backfield and look at the quarterback and let the guy just run right behind you. And that's what he did. He just totally took his eye off the wide receiver. That's the important guy. So the defense is a huge, huge concern. I thought there were a couple of positives defensively in terms of personnel. Whit Weeks continues to really impress me. He creates some pressure in the backfield. He is intense, makes tackles. That's good. It was nice to see Deshaun Womack get in there in some pass rush situations. He got a sack. Helmet came off, but he got the sack. That's something they're going to continue to cycle him in on pass rushing downs to play. And I thought those 2 freshmen were fairly positive. I think Mekhi Wingo is still a force, and that's a good thing. But outside of that, there's just not a lot of positive on defense. Your guys don't cover very well. Getting a pass interference and a touchdown catch on one play in the end zone, not great. I don't love some of the guys up front. I'm waiting for Mason Smith to create some pass rush and some issues in the backfield. He, more often than not, just kind of standing up and occupying a blocker. I don't see him penetrating the way that I see Mekhi Wingo getting back there and creating some disruption. And I think LSU has a better chance to affect the quarterback with some pass rush than they do of becoming a really good coverage team. I just don't think you have the guys to be a consistently great coverage team. I hope I'm dead wrong. And Harris continues to develop and learns how to play some zone and can be a little bit more versatile and makes those plays on the ball when he's there. I hope Zy Alexander continues to improve in his first year in the FBS. But right now, it's hard for me to envision those guys becoming the defensive backfield that we're used to seeing. just doesn't, to me, look like Patrick Peterson and Morris Claiborne and Tyrann Mathieu and Daryl Simon and Jalen Mills and Tre'Davious White and Derek Stingley and Christian Fulton and Jamal Adams and Grant Delpit. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And so KJ Jefferson's a hard guy to sack. I get that. He's big. He moves okay. He's a tough guy to get on the ground, but Arkansas's offensive line's had real problems this year. And I just didn't think LSU did a good enough job of affecting him. I asked some questions about Matt House this weekend and about my thoughts on him. I think he's a really good defensive coordinator. I thought last year some of the I can't tell you what the in-game adjustments were or weren't in some of those games, but I can tell you that LSU, even in games where they started slow defensively last year, Ole Miss got down 17 points. Mississippi State, you got down 2 scores. Even in games you started slow in, usually they figured things out. Auburn was the same way. In all 3 of those games, LSU allowed a total of 3 points in the second half. And in my football observer opinion, that's Matt House seeing something, diagnosing it, and getting his guys in position to fix it. And they just didn't fix anything in the game on Saturday night because Arkansas continued to score. And that's a bummer. And while I'm still going to sit here and feel positively about LSU being 2-0 in league play, yeah, I think you'd be crazy if you just buried your head in the sand and said, 2-0, no big deal. Because you're not getting enough pressure on the passer most of the time. You didn't on Jordan Travis, and you didn't in this game. You really couldn't against Grambling. And you're just not covering well enough. You didn't cover early against Grambling. You didn't cover at all really against Florida State. And you let KJ Jefferson really have a huge day. And he's throwing to what I would consider a very average SEC receiving corps. Jefferson, 21 of 31 in the game for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns. Let Luke Hasz, a freshman tight end, go for 116 yards. I don't know if it was busts in coverage, inability to cover, just seemed wide open. And while I guess you could say it doesn't matter, I'm a little surprised that Sam Pittman did not go for 2 after their last touchdown. They scored with 5 minutes to go, and I think you got an opportunity there to go for 2 and try to win it. LSU's going to get the ball back. It's not like LSU last year against Bama where it's overtime and you've got a chance to make one play from 2 yards. But you got a veteran quarterback, a defense that's tired and not playing well. I thought Arkansas had a chance to now, if the game plays out exactly the way it did, it wouldn't have mattered because LSU went down and got a field goal and they would have won it anyway. But I felt like Sam Pittman kind of cowered there. And maybe his thinking was, look, we're as good as them. We get into overtime, we'll score. But I just think you would have put more pressure on LSU. You certainly would have changed the environment in the stadium if you got a 2-point conversion there to take the lead. And even if you got to back up to the 5-7 yard line, like you hadn't had too much issue scoring on LSU. Quarterback was pretty hot. He's a threat to run it as well. I was thrilled sitting in the stadium, and I tweeted as much, like, I'm glad they didn't go for 2. Felt like LSU dodged one there. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.